All right, everybody, this is Mr. Hayden. This is chemistry. This is going to be the semester test review. I'm sorry that I had to cancel the session yesterday, but I wasn't here on campus. So we'll go ahead and get through. These are the things that you should be looking at for the semester test. And you know, I feel that as long as you look these up, and there's also I gave you a few test questions straight up. Just make sure you do as well as you can on the final. And yeah, make sure you turn in your science notebook. So the very first, well, I actually kind of went in order in general, but the first question is, know how to calculate the volume change when conditions on the balloon changes. So it could give you, the volume's going to expand if the temperature increases or decreases or whatever it is inside. So know those conditions. Know what a solvent is, what a solute is, and what a solution are. So as long as you kind of know those definitions and how they intermingle with each other, I think you're going to be okay on question number 2. Know the following definition: Arrhenius base, Lewis base, Bunsen-Lowry acid, Bunsen-Lowry base. If you know those definitions and can pick an example of what that means or each one of those actually means, you should be fine. Know what an exothermic reaction is and how to determine, looking at like an equation or looking at, more like an equation or what it actually means to be able to determine which one of, say, a certain equation is endothermic, exothermic, things like that. All right, specifically focusing on the exothermic. I believe this is actually a straight-up question that I just took straight up because I didn't like the way the question was written. Of the metals listed, which will not spontaneously donate electrons to copper in the solution? It's going to give you kind of like a reaction grid, or it's going to give you kind of like a table of contents or a table of data, and you're going to look at that and figure out which one you believe will spontaneously donate electrons to copper in the solution. One that clearly jumps out if you understand the question. Make sure you know the following definitions: the alkane, alkyde, alkene, alkyne. All right. So just know those definitions. Give an example of each one of those. Be kind of important. As long as you know those definitions, you should be able to get that question correctly. Know the electroplating diagram in each of the steps of the process. So what you want to do is you want to know like the anode, cathode, and the various parts of the graph, or I'm sorry, of a picture. So I would definitely even copy and paste that picture into your science notebook and understand what each one of them looks like, each one of the reactions look like at each of the poles. So if you know it's either increasing or decreasing its electrons, or when it's doing the breakdown, just make sure you know that. Know the functional groups and what carboxylic acid is. It's one of those just random acids that you should just probably know specifically. So just know the definition of functional groups and that particular acid. Know the pH of the following. So of those there: ethanol, alcohol, methyl alcohol, vinegar, ammonia, potassium hydroxide. Make sure you know the pH levels of each one of those. Know how to calculate the number of moles in gas given a very specific temperature, pressure, volume, and gas constant. So again, know how to calculate the moles of gas when the temp, the pressure, volume, and gas constant are given. Know how to find the molarity of solution when a given amount of the solute and the volume of the solvent is given. So again, specifically how to find the molarity of a solution when the amount of the solute and the volume of the solvent is given. Know how to calculate energy needed to raise temperature of a given amount of a substance. The C will be given, so the constant will be given of what particularly substance you're talking about. So just know how much energy it takes to raise the energy of a substance. Know half-life, and calculate half-life, and this more specifically, it's going to give you a bunch of data, and so are given. So you're going to have to be able to take the formula and be able to calculate it out. If a solution concentration is given of a substance in moles, know how to determine pH level of it. So again, if the solution concentration is given, you know how to calculate pH. Okay, I know a voltaic cell. And make sure you know the different reactions at the various points within the cell as well. It's important. Be able to calculate the temperature when the volume, temperature, temp when the volume, temperature are given and there is a change in pressure. So there's going to be a change in temperature based on pressure within maybe a cylinder or something. Make sure you know how to calculate that. Know how to write a thermochemical equation. So again, know how to write it. So I would definitely write down a few examples and make sure you understand those. And last, I believe this is actually a straight-up question. Again, it's just I didn't enjoy the way it was written. So for the reaction of Na4Cl to solid, NaH3 to gas, we're going to add that to the hydrogen chloride for HCl gas, and it's going to give us a temperature of 25 degrees Celsius. They're going to give a change in heat, or a change in the temp, or the amount of energy in kilojoules over moles. And then they're going to give us the change in S, and they're going to ask for the change in G when there is a reaction piece. And will this reaction be spontaneous for a forward direction? So there's the equation. I gave you two of the equations. I think it was about 15, 16 questions, something like that. Maybe 20, I can't remember exactly. But they gave you two of those, so hopefully that helps. You're not going to turn in anything this week for a central question or anything. You're just going to use this information on the test. I'm going to be zeroing out everything. It's probably the 26th, which is next Tuesday, including the science notebook. Science notebook will be conserved late as of the 22nd at 2:06 p.m. So again, make sure you turn those in ASAP. What else? Actually, for you guys, now I think you're going to be able to turn it in on the 26th because obviously I wasn't here yesterday, so they give you that extra day if you need it. But I'm going to be zeroing stuff out, and your grade is going to be your grade. It will drop if you have not completed everything, but once you start going through and getting everything complete, your grade will only go up. And you will not be responsible for the weeks that I had nothing for you to do, as well as because of testing, and you will not be responsible for week 18, 19, or 20. So those are just on there. I'll probably just go and just remove them. So it doesn't confuse anyone. But yeah, you don't have to do those. So make sure you have a good rest of your day. Make sure you study for the test before you take it, and have a good rest of the semester.